Hi, my name is Leah strazz. I'm a graphic design major, and this is my final portfolio, a collection of my best work from the past few years. To start off, here are a few logos I've worked on recently. You'll quickly notice that I'm a big believer in more is better, so I tend to use a lot of bold colors and funky font choices, which are almost always supplemented by some smaller details to finalize the design. I think that a really bold design always leaves a strong impression in the mind of the consumer, as well as distinguishes the brand from others. Here is a fictitious orange orchard I created named Golden Orchards, famous for their fresh squeezed orange juice. Orchards are warm, beautiful, family-friendly, and an excellent place to interact with nature. I think the word golden perfectly captures this feeling. The character in the logo communicates the cheerful and welcoming environment of the orchard. The colors evoke excitement and growth, and the nostalgic pattern reflects the longevity of the brand. Here's an ice cream brand I created called Cherry on Top, hence the inclusion of cherries on top of the container. I referenced a lot of design styles from the 50s to create something simultaneously colorful and nostalgic, but also not too overwhelming or outdated to maintain the authenticity of the brand. The serif and script fonts, as well as the decorative details within the label, reflect this, and the rays in the background create that old school feel as well as help the product stand out on the shelf. The Women Coalition is a rebrand of the League of Women Voters, a nonpartisan organization working to protect and expand voting rights and equality for women. I found the name and branding of the organization to be a bit outdated, so I changed the name to the Women Coalition, which is much less competitive sounding and much more inclusive to non-cisgender women. I wanted to avoid a red, white, and blue color scheme to reduce any overly patriotic associations, as well as distinguish the brand from other voting organizations. I settled on baby pink and a dark purpley blue color to be more inclusive of everyone within the spectrum of femininity. Here is a food truck I designed called Bold that travels along the beaches of San Diego selling acai bowls, smoothies, and juices. Bold is refreshing and convenient, and I wanted to reflect that in the design. The skewed primary colors palette of red, teal, and small amounts of yellow stand out against the cream background and contrasts the deep brown. Overall, the design evokes a summer of love, beach day feeling that fits the values of the brand and the environment the truck will be in. Brookview Brewery is a brewing company also located in San Diego. I grew up in San Diego on a street named Brookview Lane, and I've always liked the imagery the word evokes. This seemed like the perfect opportunity to use it in a project. I loved the alliteration in the name Brookview Brewery. It was catchy and perfect for a restaurant. The design is clean and modern with a simple complementary color scheme and a sans serif font with rounded corners. Orange is energizing, enthusiastic, and happy, exactly the emotions hoped to be felt when at a brewery. I contrasted that with a deep blue to evoke feelings of tranquility, a sense of seriousness or maturity, and to represent what San Diego is best known for, the beach. Next, here are a few posters and flyers I have made recently. To the right is an infographic created to explain the various health benefits kombucha has on the body. Therefore, clarity was the top priority. I used a heavily monochromatic color scheme to maximize the legibility of the text, and contrasted that with white details, simple icons, and clear headings to establish hierarchy and improve readability. The remaining flyers were done for the mayor, a bar located in downtown Flagstaff known for their retro furniture and quirky decorations. The flyer to the far left was done to promote Flagstaff's Tequila Sunrise, an unofficial holiday where the streets are closed off and bars open at 6 a.m. I include warm colors to represent the sunrise, a funky font to reflect the environment of the mayor, and a rubber ducky as an homage to the bar's staple claw machine. Here is an infographic I created to highlight some of the most essential information needed to understand our vast, complicated solar system. I designed this with the intention of being hung in a science museum, taking inspiration from old scientific posters with striking images and diagrams. Fitting this large amount of information into one image proved to be a bit difficult. To ensure it was as easy to digest as possible, I fit the information into data cells and drew small constellations to lead the eye from the planet to its corresponding cell. For this project, I wanted to explore the symbiotic relationship between music and art, as well as expose myself to more music. Simply the Best is a record collection I created with redesigned covers to some of the most influential albums from the 60s to the 2000s. Each cover was designed considering any themes or mood the album evokes, its influence on the music industry and/or culture, and any popular design trends of the time. I then translated this information to an app, where it became a fictitious playlist Spotify created where users can listen to the album and read about how and why it was influential. I'm the graphic designer for a small magazine based here in Flagstaff called Sonder, where we curate an Instagram, website, and literary magazine. On the right here are a few posters I have made for Sonder that were hung up around town and/or used for social media. Creating colorful, messy work like this that essentially breaks all rules of design might be my favorite thing in the world to do, and is heavily inspired by colors I like and any poetry, lyrics, quotes, etc. that have resonated with me. Designing in this way has introduced me to a different world of graphic design, one where communicating a message or particular purpose is not the top priority. The top priority is simply making art. Lastly, on the left here is our second issue for Sonder that was just released, and I helped curate submissions, designed the cover, and designed the layout for each page in the issue. The issue consisted of poetry, writing, collages, and film photography submitted by artists all over the country. Most of the work was originally done by hand, and I wanted to digitally replicate that look, so I used a typewriter font, an off-white textured background, and alternating page layouts. Creating this magazine was a very long process, but was definitely excellent exposure to both the publication design process as well as the printing process. And that is the end of my portfolio. I worked really hard on this, and I'm very proud of this work, so I appreciate you listening. Thank you so much.